Hey, I'm Ryan Hendrick, the 5th and 6th grade pastor. This last Sunday, we were on our second week of our series called Moods. The first week, we talked about anger and how it can overtake you. This week, we talked about fear and how fear can overtake you. I defined fear, and I talked about the different responses that we can have when we get fearful. It might be we're fighters. It's basically fight, flight, freeze. So you might try to fight and control the situation. You might run from the situation, or you might just stop and be like a deer in the headlights. And so I encourage the students to really figure out what type they were, especially with threats that are real, like something scary like a deer hitting your car, but also things that are imagined, like what if my friends are going to reject me? A lot of those what ifs. What if I get the virus? What if things don't go back to normal? Just really bringing up those types of things and the fear that can come from those. And then I went over what God has to say about that in Matthew 8:23 through 27. I went over the story of Jesus calming the storm with the disciples and how they could have been experiencing those fears in the midst of that storm. But then fast forward to 1 Peter 5:7 and how Peter talked about casting all of your fears, all your anxieties on God. So really tried to look at Peter as an example of he went through this terrible, crazy thing. God delivered him through it, and that strengthened his faith. And he was able to trust God in greater ways as he was spreading the gospel. And so encouraging our students to give their fears to God and then to really give God the glory when things go well so that we're not forgetting him and we just move on and, that was crazy. But instead really just trying to take that moment and say, God, you really delivered me. And use that as an opportunity to strengthen our faith. So that's what I talked about this week. Next week, Birch is going to be talking about, whatever emotion happens with our last series of moods. So have a wonderful week. See you Sunday.